So you found a game. Now you got to make a character. Where do you even start?
So you found a game. Now what?
That's the hard part. There are so many options. Where do you start? Do you start with stats? Do you start with your backstory?
Well, first of all, if you're going to get into a game, you're going to know right away if this is going to be one of those, hey, hand me a character. I just want to play kind of games. But here at RPU, what we're going to talk about is you got to develop the character. And where does that begin?
First and foremost, anybody can take a pre-generated character and run with it, just like playing a video game. You got player A, player B. You want to be player A or player B? You have to start making the character from inception. And what I mean by that is know where your character came from, know where they want to go, and then where are they at in your DM's world.
We're going to be talking more about In Your DM's World in another segment. But for now, we think that you should begin at personality. That's really where characters should develop from.
So inception for the character becomes I want to play a battle hardened soldier, right? There's so many ways to accomplish that. There are tons of classes, feats, all that can feed in there, but you've got to figure out who they are.
Correct. You've got to figure out who they are. And where that begins is with personality.
Absolutely. I mean, it is there a quirk? Are they angry all the time? Not that the whole lone wolf thing hasn't been overplayed a blue million times at the table. I think we can do better than that here at this channel.
Oh, we can definitely do better than that. Um, but it is your preference. So when it comes to character types, if it's lone wolf, it's lone wolf. If that's what you're comfortable with right now, that's okay.
Sure.
But where we're heading, you are going to have so many other options before you. Most people come into the game brand new, not ever having played before, and they choose something they're familiar with. They'll typically choose a character from a movie or a book that they enjoy.
Or from, in my case, past experiences, where I grew up played a big part in the first character that I created. Their personality, in my opinion, it's easier to play yourself or a character you're very familiar with. If you're a huge fan of Batman, you know Batman inside and out, right? Play that. Just flavor it.
Flavor it the way that you want to. Speaking of Batman, one of the characters that I'm going to bring to the table for us to generate and go through is going to be a version of Oswald Cobblepot.
Love it. Love it.
But his name is going to be Asswold Pobblecott.
We'll bleep that out later. Um, Great. No, that's the thing we're talking about is taking something you're familiar with, twisting it, making it your own.
I think it's interesting from that perspective, and I chose that character for a very specific reason. People know who the Penguin is, but Oswald Cobblepot wasn't always the Penguin. He was himself, and that's the character I'm shooting for.
That kind of goes back for me to who your character was, who did your character want to be, and where are they at now in the world.
Absolutely. Past and future is going to come right after personality. So you're going to choose a personality. You can go down the list. Several people have lists that you can roll on to choose a personality, but my recommendation would be to take that list and choose the one that stands out to you the most. Not randomly roll for it, because you're going to find yourself in a place where you feel like you have to play that type of character. And maybe you don't want to, or you're not ready for that. My recommendation is to walk through that list, just finger down the list and find one that pops right out to you. You're going to know that's the one that speaks to you.
So as we move forward through these videos, going over where to start, how to create a character, and how to role play that character, we are separately going to be making our own characters as examples. So you've picked,
Aswold Pobelcott.
not going to remember that, but that's the DM's job, not mine. So I'm thinking that I'm going to make a shy bard who has trouble performing in front of people, that has all this great talent, has been told he has that great talent, but doesn't yet have confidence to go out in front of people, to be in a group of friends and perform, to make magic. Um, so yeah, don't have a name yet. We don't need a name yet. He's the head of the game. You are. He's 2 episodes ahead. So I want to keep mine basic. I want to keep mine as a personality type and who I want to play and how I want to play them. Right. So we have over time, over anything more than a one shot, you're going to have character growth.
Yes.
So mine will have a very sharp arc, but an arc nonetheless.
Going back to personality, real quick to capitalize on what we've already talked about. The character that you choose begins with the personality that you choose. From there, you're going to develop what took place in their life, their past, their future, why they are the way they are right now. And then we're going to go into the category that's somewhat touchy for folks. Some people call it code of conduct.
Mm.
Some people call it alignment.
Some people say alignment doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But here at Roleplay University, it's almost everything.
It matters a great deal. Does it have a technical benefit in 5e?
No, in 5e, there is zero mechanical influence from the alignment that you choose. From a roleplay standpoint, it is the center mast of your ship that's your character.
But why does it matter so much if it doesn't have an advantageous ability in the game?
Because otherwise, you're just metagaming. You are taking whatever action is most beneficial to you and your party at the time, rather than always saying, when it's your turn, what would insert character name that I have not learned yet?
Aswold Pobelcott.
What would Pavelcock do? Cot?
Pobelcott.
Pavelcott. We don't have to bleep that. It's part of the name. What would he do in this situation? There have been many times where I've been playing. You were at the table where my lawful good character said, "Whoa, whoa, I'm I'm backing up away from this situation. It's escalating. I'm going to try and de-escalate it." Could I have shot? Could I have initiated combat? Absolutely. But my character would not. So I didn't.
Metagaming is where you go when you don't know what else to do. It's a natural instinct. It's very difficult for you to separate what your character would do from what you would do if you were in the same position if you don't know these pieces to your character that we are talking about. That's why we're talking about them.
I'll add to that is the more you know your character, the easier this is all going to be.
So there are a million personality traits and trackers and forms out on the internet. One that we like to use is here. And you can see right away that there are contrasting personality archetypes. One of those is the anarchist, and the other, the control freak.
these are just two of hundreds of examples. What every new player and some vets, in my opinion, need to remember is you can do whatever you want at the table.
That's right.
You just tell the DM what you want to do, and he'll tell you what to roll every time. So every table should have an anarchist, right? You need somebody up here in the corner that is going to challenge the status quo, to light fires, to smack the donkey on the you know what, right? Like, have some fun with the world. See how far you can take the world before the world kicks back. The other hand, the control freak.
We're going to need that again.
Oh, so the control freak is more of your cool, calculated. Here is our plan. It is very well thought out. Everybody has their job. Everybody around them has their role, and they feel safe. But you've got to have the anarchist to balance that, right? If you have an entire party full of learned, scholarly elder wizards, you're going to have a completely different time at the table than you would if you had actually 5 different or 4 different personality types.
You can take a chart like this and you can look at it for just a few seconds and realize, hey, I know what I want to play. And then you can start developing your character from there.
There are a ton of these options online, on Pinterest, on people like us on YouTube. There's so much out there that can help you and guide you to get what's here down on paper.
We have a couple of those links that we prefer below.
So, in conclusion, if you start with personality, you're going to have a very strong character once you get done building them.
If you develop the background the appropriate way, where you know how they became what they became and what their outlook to the future is, you're going to be able to answer almost any question that gets thrown at you in the game about how they would react.
So, the next video on the playlist, we're going to go with looks. Who is your character? It's going to be a lot harder to play a really tough barbarian if they're a fairy.
That's true, but fairies have pulled it off before.
It can be done. So, join us next time as we continue building our characters.